October 1960. The party of the century was happening in Lagos. The British were packing their crates, and the Union Jack was a relic of the past. To the world, the AJ had won. Sir Alistair Thorne and his New World Coven had been driven back to the salt and the spray of the Atlantic. But as the fireworks lit up the Nigerian sky, the wise mothers, the AJ, did not join the dance. They knew that when you cut off a predator's food source, it doesn't just die, it waits, and it leaves behind the seeds of its own hunger. The vampires were gone, but the heart of the Iroko remained. It was no longer hidden in the deep forests. It sat in the center of the new federal government, a prize, a source of infinite energy and spiritual authority. The British had governed with steel. The new leaders intended to govern with the heart. The new nation was built on a tripod, but the legs were uneven, the north, the west, and the east. In the secret chambers of the new capital, a tripartite council was formed to watch the heart. But distrust is a master architect. The North claimed the right of the protector, using their military to surround the relic. The West claimed the right of the scholar, wanting to study the heart's secrets in their ivory towers. The East, the Igbos, were the original keepers. It was their ancestors who had hidden the heart from the slave traders. They saw the custody agreement for what it was, a slow-motion theft. They watched as the federal government began to use the heart's power to favor certain regions, while the East was left with the crumbs of the spiritual feast. The covenant was cracking before the ink was even dry. By 1966, the whispers became shouts. The Igbos, considered the minority in the halls of power, realized they were being invited to a table where they were the main course. They didn't just want political freedom, they wanted their share of the spiritual inheritance. They demanded that the heart be split, or that the East be allowed to govern its own portion of the Iroko's power. The federal government called it treason. The East called it survival. They claimed that the one Nigeria being sold to them was a vampire's trick, a way to keep the people's energy focused in one place so it could be easily drained. They decided to break the tripod. They chose to carve out a sanctuary where the sun would never set, and the heart would finally breathe the air of the forest once more. The final straw came when the federal forces tried to move the heart to a secret bunker in the far north, away from the eastern shrines. The Igbo mystics, the Dibia, intervened. In a night of fire and blood, the East seceded. They didn't just take their land, they took their spirit. But as the lines were drawn in the sand, something terrifying happened to the heart of the Iroko. The heart of the Iroko thrives on unity. By breaking the nation, they were breaking the relic. And as the first shots of the Civil War echoed through the hills of Garkum, the pale diplomats in the shadows began to laugh. They didn't need to conquer Nigeria anymore. Nigeria was doing the work for them. The hunger was home, and it was wearing a uniform. The covenant is shattered. The war for the soul of the black race has begun, and in the darkness of the trenches, the vampires are coming back to finish their meal.